Welcome to the Jerry Graves channel. This is a channel that talks about narcissists. And without further ado, we're going to go ahead and jump straight into the topic. But first, make sure you hit the like and subscribe button and leave a comment. And let's jump into it. All right, so I want to talk about why narcissists never leave you alone. Sometimes it feels like everywhere you go, there's a narc. There's somebody who takes you in. You keep getting targeted. And there's a lot that goes into this. But I'm going to go ahead and just name a few things that I think are the most important things that you can change so that you can live a narc-free life. So first, you just got to become a good defender of narcissism. It's kind of like boxing. There's levels to it. There's different things that you can do that can make it just harder and harder for people to kind of box you in and target you, to corner you, and just, it reminds me of Floyd Mayweather. Like, Floyd Mayweather is one of the greatest defensive boxers of all times. And he has different levels to his defense. He has different things that he does. And it's almost like peeling back an onion because he's so good at each thing. And the reason why it's important for people who are trying to defend themselves from narcissism to learn different defenses and be good at them is because narcissists are combative. It's almost violence to a degree, even if they aren't actually coming in physical contact with you. So you got guys like Mayweather, like I said. Just let's break his whole defense down, all right? And this is important because a lot of people will say, well, you got to learn how to do the gray rock, or you got to learn how to use your words very wisely around the narcissist. And we get techniques, but at the same time, there's no specific technique that can work and defend against every narcissist that you go to, or just defend against a narcissist if you're going to have to be stuck around them. So the boxing metaphor works to explain this. It's kind of like Floyd Mayweather. So what he does is his main defense is not his Philly shell. Like, a lot of people talk about the Philly shell. That's where a boxer will block with his shoulder, and he'll have his forearm across his waist, and he'll have his back hand guarding his chin, and his lead hand is the one that's across his waist, and he blocks by leaning and deflecting punches with his shoulders and his backhand, and he just kind of rotates and spins off, and a lot of punches will glance off. And so what happens is a lot of boxers will watch this and they'll just learn the Philly shell and think that that's it. But if you are standing in one place and somebody's throwing punches at you, eventually you're going to get hit. And it's the same thing with narcissism. No matter how good you are at the Philly shell, you're going to get hit. You're over here blocking and deflecting all these punches, but if you're just standing right there in arm's length, all your opponent has to do is just throw a lot of punches. Eventually something's going to get through. You can't block everything. And so that's the same thing with saying that, oh, well, let's do the gray rock thing, or let's do the other thing, or there's no specific technique that you can do and just kind of just stand there, and eventually the person's going to get through. And that's just how it is with any defense. So you want to have a moving type of shield. So what Floyd Mayweather does in the boxing ring, which is, like I said, it's a lot like dealing with narcissism, is that his first defense is his feet. He moves away. And a lot of people are so enamored with the Philly shell and things like that. Like, go and watch highlights of him, just his defense. You don't have to watch his whole fights. But it's so stylish that people don't even notice how much he's moving away. And that's the number one key to any defense, is just to avoid your opponent. And so that's what you got to do. No matter what you do, if you're come in contact with these people, you avoid them first. You move, you use your feet. Even while you're responding to them, you're moving away. You got to make it where they have to catch you before they can do anything to you. So yeah, you need a good Philly shell, which is in this terms, it would be a good gray rock. You need a convincing gray rock, but you got to be very good on your feet. You got to move. You don't stand there and just try to gray rock all day. That don't work. You got to be a defensive specialist, and that kind of breaks people down. That makes people not want to target you. When you get really good at it, when it's like peeling back an onion, they only have a certain amount of time to get at you, but you have defense on top of defense. Like Mayweather. Mayweather is good at the Philly shell. He's good at his footwork. He's good at his head movement, and he's an all-time great in all these different things. So once you get past his footwork, you finally cut him off. You can't hit him because his shoulder roll. And then once you get past that, you realize his head movement is as good as any other boxer in history. So you want to work on all of these things. Your gray rock, the things that you say, the things that you buy into, not giving into drama, using your body language. Sometimes you don't need to say anything. Sometimes it's best to speak with your body to cut down the conversation. And another thing that you can do is you got to be self-absorbed. A lot of us, we're too involved. We're too kind as far as people. That doesn't mean there's nothing wrong with being kind, but you want to you want to listen to everybody and give everybody the benefit of the doubt and just, fully understand them and things like that. And that leads to you showing the narcissist that you're in the world, that you're responsive, and that breaks down your gray rock. A lot of people want to sit there and just do the gray rock thing, but it's like you got to give them another reason why to understand that they're never going to get to you. Not just because you're good at gray rock, and not just because you're boring and you're just plain, but because you're so self-absorbed, which many people are. And that's the thing. Many people are too self-absorbed to be bothered, and it's a lot of people are like that. That's part of the reason why the narcissist doesn't pick on everybody that they can, just based on power dynamics, just because the person is just too into themselves. They're not listening. If you ever really pay attention to people talk, a lot of people are not listening to each other. They're just waiting for their turn to talk. And that's not really fun for the narcissist. They want somebody who's, really going to listen to them, not so that they can be heard, but so that their tactics can be felt. And it just is funner. It's more lively for them. They get more pleasure. So there's that. And the final thing is that you just have to have more power. And people who have less power are going to be bothered. They're going to get targeted. And it's just, that's how it is. A lot of people target people who are perceived to be less powerful than themselves. So just by you gaining more power, you don't even have to change all the little things. Yes, there's narcissists at every level of power, but just the idea that you're more powerful just makes it a smaller and smaller group of people who are able to target you for their own free entertainment. A lot of people who are weaker than you won't target you because it's like, that's not going to be very entertaining because you're going to put them into a bad situation. Not to say anything like you need to be violent to these people, but you can easily vanquish them and take their power away. It's only fun messing with people that are less powerful than you, people that you can beat. And so just by gaining power, if you didn't know anything about narcissism, just by you being a more physically fit, stronger person, just smarter, everything. Gaining more money will make it where less people target you. Period. You don't have to know anything. There's a balance to this. There's knowing about narcissism to stop it, and there's just gaining power to stop narcissism. You can do either way. You can do whatever you want, however you want to do it, as long as you abide by logic. Logically speaking, powerful people are the people who don't get messed with as much as weaker people. So just gain power. Simple as that. And that is the end of the video. Hopefully you liked it. Peace.